1. Welcome to Made for More Living.
One small step for man.
With Johnny Jennings.
Kick the tires and light the fires, Big Daddy.
The fastest and most exciting hour of news, events, and real estate in Northern California.
And this is a fact that was proved.
Powered by eXp Realty. Online at madeformoreliving.com.
Does everybody know what time it is?
Get ready. Here we go.
In the studio today, we have a special guest. He's a dear friend of mine. I've known him for a number of years, and he has changed the trajectory of Valerie's life, of my life, of our kids' lives, and of countless other agents. So it's a true honor to have you in the studio today, Brent Gove.
Thank you very much, Johnny. Great to be here.
So we were talking before we came on the show about just how the real estate market is in a bit of a transition right now. Like, what are you seeing? What are you experiencing? What is it? If you were a buyer in today's market, what would you tell them?
Yeah, I mean, I speak all over the country now and Canada, and basically interest rates are up, so buyers are a little skittish, right? They're a little skittish, like a school of fish in the shallows. Sellers are like, well, if I sell, I get a high rate, and my current rate's 3%. So sellers aren't exactly excited to sell, and buyers aren't exactly excited to buy. So it puts us in this kind of a quandary we're in right now. Yeah. And so bottom line is keep renting, and you'll find that they'll sell the house you're in. You got to move constantly. You could get an apartment, but do you really want to live in an apartment? And so bottom line is, I remember selling homes that seemed outrageously expensive in 97 when I got started in real estate. And I was doing open houses in Natomas by downtown Sacramento, and a lot of state employees worked there. And I remember the neighbors coming over going, "This is outrageous. Who would ever pay this for a home?" I'm like, people from San Francisco and San Jose would. And the homes that they thought were outrageously priced were $88,000 a piece to about $94,000. They thought, who would possibly pay this price? My point is that they were beautiful little 3-bedroom, 2-bath, gorgeous, shiny penny craftsman-style homes in Natomas. They're beautiful. And we should have bought dozens of them at that price. Yep. So right now, everyone's thinking, well, geez, it's $500,000 for a home in Sacramento. My kids teamed up and bought a house, $520,000, and it was a fixer-upper. But you know what? In 20 years, it's going to seem like the deal of a lifetime. And you can refinance the rate. Rates are not going to stay up forever. They're going to dip back down, and then you refinance the rate. So my kids bought a house. Their house payment is $5,000 a month.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah. But here's the deal. They get huge tax benefits from that. Nobody ever thinks about that. Go look at the gross on your paycheck. Look at the net on your paycheck, and the difference is gross. Now, because of that house, you get to keep that difference. You buy a home, you get pay raise. Go talk to an intelligent tax person. Buy a home, get a pay raise because you bought the home. Now, the number one thing you could do for your tax situation is to buy a home. And yep, you get to plant a garden. You get to put hopefully you buy one that's just a chicken coop like my kids did. We had to paint it. We had to replace toilets and light fixtures and redo the cabinets and add sheetrock to the garage. It was terrible. But you know what? That home will be worth $800,000-$900,000 easily in the next 20 years. And what will be owed on it is more like $250,000. So that's called equity. But their payment, it will be only $5,000 a month. And you may think that's a lot. Friends of mine just rented a 5-bedroom, 3-bath home in West Roseville, backs up to Antelope, $13,000 a month. Yep. So your rents will always go up and away like a kite. So you need to suck it up. You need to figure it out. The number one thing you could do for your financial future is buy a house, even at the higher interest rate.
So buying a house is the best thing to do, even if it's painful right now. When people are beginning that process, how would you recommend? What would be the first step in beginning that journey?
We'll call John Jennings at the Made for More team.
There we go.
He will connect you to JJ Mack. And JJ's brilliant. I know his father from 30 years ago. I'm old now. I know people's fathers because they were young and I was young, but now we're all old together. But David Mack from Big Valley Mortgage, which went on to become American Pacific Mortgage. Of course, that's where JJ's at. But he'll, mainly Johnny's going to make sure you get pre-qualified, that you can actually buy this house. And then later on in the show, we're going to give you some great tips on how to get get a phenomenal deal on the house. I can't wait to share that.
Awesome. Back after this.
So obviously, I don't have to tell you that during the holiday season, you are extra busy with so many things to do, so many events to go to. You don't have time to think about all the things you need to do to sell your home. So Johnny Jennings, our good friend with Made for More Realty, he's made it simple, easy, like he did for Sabrina, who wanted a cash offer for her home. So he brought her a dream offer. She accepted it and was even able to stay in her home after closing so she could make a smooth move to her next home. That's what they do. They make things fast, easy, and simple at Made for More Realty.
Yeah, just one of the many reasons they've been voted the #1 team in Roseville for the past 3 years. There are so many reasons why they have over 800 5-star reviews. So, you expect more, get more with Johnny Jennings and the Tom Daves team at Made for More Realty. Just Google Made for More Realty today and get more for your home. License number 198-2171.
This is Made for More Living with Johnny Jennings, powered by eXp Realty. Online at madeformoreliving.com.
So I'm here with Brent Gove, and we are talking about how to find a great deal on a home. Now, Brent, just to give you a little bit of background on Brent, you've been doing this nearly 30 years, sold thousands and thousands, like what, 1,000 homes, 2,000 homes? How many homes have you sold?
Well, I had people helping me sell the homes. I wasn't a broker, but I was on the contracts. Over 5,000.
Wow, over 5,000. And let's just go into your background a little so people know who they're listening to. Because I remember when I first met you, I felt like I was meeting a celebrity.
Yeah.
Right? Because you were with who'd you start out with?
Well, I started with an independent brokerage back in 96, 97. Can't quite remember the name of that brokerage. But then I went to RE/MAX, then I went to Keller Williams. I'm currently at EXP.
Mm-hmm. And when you were at RE/MAX, you weren't you ranked #1 in the state at one point?
Yeah. 1 year I hit #1 in sales. About 10,000 RE/MAX agents, and that year I sold 427 homes in a single year.
Wow.
With my team. Nobody sells that kind of volume alone.
Sure.
Yeah.
So you sold it with your team, and about how many of those sales were buyers?
Oh, about 318.
There you go.
Buyers were my jam back then.
Yep. So this is a guy who knows something about how to get buyers a great deal.
Yes.
And
yes.
When I just read this report, and it talked about how many people are using real estate agents. So I was on a listing appointment recently, Brent, and they were like, "Well, do we even need a realtor? Because there's the internet. We'll just throw it on the MLS, and it will syndicate out to all the websites, and I can read contracts. So do I really need a realtor?"
Sure.
That's what they were saying. And what this report recently found out is that even with the advent of the internet, over 90% of people today who are buying homes are using realtors. So even with the internet, 9 out of 10 homes that are selling, people are choosing to use a realtor because they know these hacks, they know these tricks on how to get a great deal on a home. So what are some suggestions you would give somebody on how to get a great deal?
You bet. But by the way, you asked about my background.
Yeah.
This is the key of what made me so successful. When I was 19, I went off to a private Bible college up north. Some of you may know it, Chico State.
Bible college.
And yeah. I started reading my Bible there. It was a Bible college, and got saved. Went to Calvary Chapel, and it was a great time. And then of course I got into sales for 10 years. Loved it. Loved people. I'm motivated. And then I got into real estate in 97. So we skipped that part. I thought my private Bible college, Chico State, go Wildcats would be important.
Did you end up getting a degree at Chico?
No. I dropped out of college, of course. They turned me down twice. No one's ever been turned down from Chico State. I got turned down twice. They let me in the third time. They said, "You're going to struggle." I go, "No, I won't." And I dropped out my junior year, mainly because I was making 4 times what my college professors were earning part-time during sales. I'm like, man, the highest paid profession in the world is not being a neurologist. It's being in sales. If you love people and you're motivated, the sky's the limit in that regard.
No-brainer.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I went to college, graduated in 4 years with a degree in history, and I minored in political science.
I love it.
So very useful in my work today, right? And
I was a history major.
Oh, really?
I don't know if you knew that about me.
I did not.
And I was minoring in communications, but I was terrible at it. I got
really?
a C-. Oh, I was so nervous getting in front of the class talking. Now you can't shut me up. It's been 40 years. So
wow, I cannot envision that. When I think great communicators, I think like Winston Churchill. I think Ronald Reagan.
Oh,
I think,
my boy.
and honestly, I think you, Because when you walk into a room, whether it's you're working with buyers, sellers, agents, there's an immediate lift in the room. There's an immediate lift. So talking about lifts, how can people get a great deal on buying a home?
All right. So, when I was selling, I'm going to tie this in. My first year, my first full year, I sold 18 homes. Then I went on to 28 homes. Then I kind of saw a model for doing open houses, and I sold 48 homes my fourth year.
Wow.
And it made almost $400,000 a year. I'm like, is this even legal? Like, I dropped out of college, and now I made $393,000 my fourth year in real estate. What's that have to do with homes? You'll see. And then I learned not only to do the open houses, but I learned to, at my open houses, and every real estate agent, broker listing should do this, I would provide a list of vacant homes in the area. And why vacant, you ask? Because you can't get that on Realtor.com. You can't get it on Zillow or Redfin, but you can get it from Made for More from John Jennings. You get a list of the vacant homes. Why the vacant homes? Because those are the people who burn the boats in the bay. They've moved to Nashville. They've moved to Utah. They live in Nevada. They've left town. Their home is empty.
Yep.
And the first month they write a payment excuse me, of $2,000 or $3,000 or $4,000 on an empty house, their desire to sell goes through the roof. They panic a little, and they're a very serious seller, and they will negotiate. Whereas if you go look at homes that have people in them, John, you and I have done that with this home. Like, look, if I don't get my price of $900,000 and it's worth maybe $8,000, right?
Yeah.
If I don't get $900,000, I'll just cancel the listing and I'll sell next year, the year after that. They're not motivated.
Correct.
So if you're a buyer, finding that pool of desperate, motivated sellers, and not all vacant homes have a desperate, motivated seller, but many do. They panic sale. And I'm looking for a good deal. There's nothing wrong for you making a good purchase for your family. So what you could do is I would go in on a home, say at $500,000, and I would offer them, $425,000, and nobody does that. Like, that's an insult. Well, your agent, who do you work for? Are you trying not to embarrass yourself in front of other agents? Are you working for the seller? Or are you working for the buyer? I would go in at $425,000, but you got to know how to have diplomacy, because most listing agents will go, that's a joke. They're like, rewrite your offer, come back to me. I won't even present that to my seller. Well, first of all, they have to. They have a fiduciary to the seller, but you get some real, I guarantee some agents are broke. Like, what a joke. Hey, you do what you do. I'll do what I do. I went on to sell 48 homes a year to over 400 a year, employing this vacant home strategy. I was the master of multi-million-dollar vacant homes, of starter vacant homes, of investment vacant homes. That's your motivated seller pool. We know buyers are motivated, but finding a motivated seller is hard in this market. So when you look at a vacant home, guess what? They will entertain your offer. And then you the other thing is, don't always go after the lowest priced home, because everybody sees that one. You're like, oh my gosh, just hit the market. It gets 10 offers, and it goes from, it was $497 and it should have been, $530, $540, and it gets bid up to $550. I like the ones that are $510, $520, $530, $540. I'd write 2, 3, 4 offers at once. Like, you can't do it; it's illegal. Correct, but there's a legal way to do it, and that's some training that you have to learn that we don't have time to go over now. But I would write an offer every 6 hours on a house and have it end. And it's like, you can't do that. Yes, you can. You terminate the offer in 6 hours. And then you write on 4 homes every 6 hours, 6 hours, 6 hours, 6. You don't tell the other agents you're doing it. But if you write 4 low offers and 3 of them laugh you off, but the 4th one, and all the homes are beautiful, they're all gorgeous, but the 4th one, they need the cash out of the house. They moved to Phoenix, Arizona. They moved to Las Vegas. They have a big financial need. They go, wow, I know I shouldn't take this offer at $425. The home's definitely probably worth $5, and they have it overpriced at $515. But they take the offer at $450 because they need, maybe they have $200,000. They need the money. And so here's a way to find a motivated seller, but most people go onesie, twosie. Write 4 or 5 offers at once. Find the motivated seller.
Yep.
And so some agents hate this. Like, oh my God, these agents are going to earn your money, guys. Yeah, you can do it quickly. It's easy to do. And the reason you don't sell 48 homes a year or 400 homes a year, you got to have some ambition, some fire in the belly to represent your client, get them the best deal on a house. and then you buy it as is. Well, what if there's something wrong? The contract says, John, on page 7 or wherever it is, it's an as is purchase anyways.
Yep.
So I write it on page 1, as is in all caps, like a kindergartner. Sellers fall over themselves, like, oh my God, it's an as is. All sales are as is, and so get some credit for it. Go in low, close fast. That's the other thing, John. I'll give it back to you. Close in 10 days. I have agents and brokers say, oh, you can't do that. I do it all the time in every city, every state in the nation. If it's good credit, good job, you can close in 10 days. Yeah, if the guy's a plumber or a painter or self-employed and their credit's a mess, it won't be a 10-day close. Not every client you have is in that situation, but when you have a client who's got a steady job, steady paycheck, and they're pre-approved, ready to go, you can close in 10 days. And when you can give the seller what they want, $200,000, $300,000, $500,000 in 10 days, they will drop that price. $50,000, $80,000, $100,000, $200,000, especially if it's $1.9 million and you're going in at $1.7 million. It's probably worth $1.9 million, but they owe, maybe they have $1 million worth of equity, and you're going to give them $1 million in 10 days. They will do something they probably shouldn't do because they have a need. Hope that makes sense.
Totally makes sense. There's so that's something that we do. So every single week, we publish this list, and we give it to our agents. And so when they're at the open houses, they can hand out these lists or show people, hey, here are some motivated sellers. Do you want to go see some of these properties right now? And so we do provide that. If you'd like to learn more about that, just go ahead and reach out to us at madeformorerealty.com. But you mentioned something too, Brent, that I thought was interesting. A few days ago, Michael Jordan's house just sold. He had a house. It's been on the market for, I think, 11 years. And I constantly hear sellers talk about, hey, I'm not going to go below this price. Well, because this is what it's worth to me. So this is Michael Jordan. This is somebody who is probably one of the most famous people in the world. Like, who doesn't know Michael Jordan? And it was on the market.
Is he a hockey guy?
Yeah,
Just kidding.
Yeah.
No, he's baseball. Everyone knows he actually played baseball.
He did play baseball, yeah.
The man, the myth, the legend, the basketball king. Go ahead.
Basketball king. He had it originally listed for $29 million. It didn't sell after a series of price cuts. He basically went through a new realtor every year for 11 years. And these are like legends in the real estate industry. They are having world-class photographers go out there and shoot the property. The marketing is on point. They're putting it across all these different TV, media, newsletters.
What did the price get down to?
It eventually sold for, and they weren't allowed to disclose it initially, but now they've disclosed. It eventually sold for $9.5 million.
Wow. He way thought his property was worth way more than he was. Yeah.
And sometimes that's what sellers are in that situation. But I wonder if this person came in and said, hey, you know what? This is what we're willing to pay. We can do a quick close. It can be off your books. You don't have to deal with this ever again. And then somebody picked up the house for $9.5 million.
Yeah, that is pretty awesome. I don't think so. It's 11 years. There's an example of to me a seller that wasn't motivated. But then that's why I'm saying write 3, 4, 5 offers. Yeah. I don't know. He just finally got the price right. I don't know. He's so much money, right? With the Nike thing.
Yep. I think him coming off the price is the equivalent of like a millionaire losing at $11,000 is the example I heard.
Right.
So it's chump change to somebody like him, but the house is only worth what the house is worth.
Correct.
And sometimes that buyer coming in and writing an offer, it may feel low to the seller, it may feel low to the listing agent, but it might be exactly what that home is worth.
Right. And teach your agent to do this. Write the offer and then do bullet point text. Hey, the offer's $425, we're willing to come up on a $500,000 home. It's as is. We're put up a big earnest money deposit. Put up like $30,000. Don't put up $3,000. Yep. It goes towards your down payment. Well, how much you can put? I'll put $40,000 down. Well, if you put a $3,000 earnest money deposit, that means you bring in $37,000 at close. That's $40,000. Once you just put up 30 and bring 10 at close, it's the same $40,000. But when sellers see, golly, this guy's putting up $30,000. This gal, this guy, this couple, $30,000. Money talks, and they're like, and then they write as is, and like, well, it's win forms. We don't write on them. Print the offer, write as is in big capital A, capital S, capital, and then in parentheses. I write out like a billboard on the front of that offer. I cannot tell you how many times. Why did we get it? Because you were as is. Well, every offer was as is, but nobody gets credit for it. You got to be smart. But when you do this text, it's important that it says, the price as is closes in 10 days. In fact, I may put the price at the end, and all these wonderful attributes of your offer. and then seller gets proceeds. I put that in the text in 10 days. Mr. Listing Agent, you get paid in 10 days. And so you give them a little thing and I go, just because I don't want to present that. I don't want to drive an hour across town, spend an hour presenting this lousy. Just send them the text. I've had sellers accept the offer. Oh my gosh, they just accepted your offer. Would they accept? A text. Now they have the offer. They go get the offer DocuSigned or they counter back.
Yeah.
And the listing agent will cop an attitude on you when you come in low like that, 50, 75, 100,000 under, 200,000 under on a higher priced home.
Why do you think they do that? Like, why do they get all offended about it?
Well, because they're order takers. They just, they're order takers. They're not creative. And so I just say, look, just present the text to them. We can't wait. I know you're not presenting offers till Monday night, and you have every right to do that. We just simply can't wait. We're in a desperate, motivated situation. That's why we're closing in 10 days. That's why we're putting up a $30,000 earnest money deposit. We just got to fix the price. The buyer's not stuck on $425,000 or $825,000 or $1,400,000. Is your seller stuck on their price? And I just shut up and go, no. And I said, good, let's negotiate. Let's bring me a counteroffer. Let's start this game of countering. But I do that on 3, 4, 5 homes at once. So the seller, the buyer, my buyer, your buyer can get the best possible deal. Now, you never want to tell the agent, we've written on 4 other homes, they get depressed, right?
Yeah.
And you don't have to. There's no law safe to disclose that. And if you do them, you expire them every 6 hours. And they're like, well, I can't present that quick. Well, present it when you can. And every time you can present. Sometimes I expire them in 3 hours. I write at 2, it's over at 5. And you got to reverse the FOMO, fear of missing out. Like, hey, just send them the text. I don't expect you. I know you're at baseball. I know you're at soccer. I know you're at the family picnic at the lake. Send them a copy. I literally have all the highlights of the offer, copy and paste. And they're like, hey, they're going to counter you at this because they only have till 5. I said, oh, great. And then I work off a text back, and we put deals together all the time. Then we followed up, obviously, with everything in writing.
Absolutely. And so what's great about what you're outlining, too, is the agent is working hard for their client.
Yes.
Like, they're not just, like you mentioned earlier, not just an order taker waiting for somebody to say, hey, yes, we're willing to accept your market value offer.
Yep.
Like, they're out there hustling, grinding, and working hard for their clients, which is something we strive for. We actually have it's a 7 or 8 point sheet that we can share with our buyers if you're looking to make a move. We're happy to share this with you. A strategy that we walk you through. We hold your hand on how to get great deals on homes. So go ahead and reach out to us at Made for More Realty, and we'll get you that sheet. But something else that I just don't understand, Brent, maybe you can speak to this a little bit more, but sellers are like, well, I'm going to price my home at this, and then I'll reduce the price. Maybe if somebody brings us an offer, we'll be flexible on price, or we'll offer a credit. But they don't realize that that price is unlikely to even generate an offer. And so oftentimes what you just described, where you're bringing in that offer and you're trying to, hey, just negotiate with me on this, that is what so many sellers out there are wanting to do. They want to negotiate. They want to begin that dialogue. But if you don't even send over an offer, how are we supposed to do that?
Right.
So
there you go. And part of it's the agent's fault. They're afraid to write a low offer.
Yeah.
And because they get chewed out by the listing agent. Well, you're not from around here. You knew. I wouldn't embarrass my seller. What an embarrassing offer you've written. They'll be mean. These agents are tough. I will say this. Here's the ultimate order taker. And John would never do this on the Made for More team. But I loved getting listings that couldn't sell. I come behind them and I said, really, you were listed with who? This company, that company. We were listed to it. Couldn't sell. I says, well, how many showings did you get? Oh, man, we had like 40 showings. How many offers did you get? None. Well, of course, the market's speaking. Your price so loud they didn't fire a shot across the bow, right? Mm-hmm. And I said, so you had 40 showings or you had 10 showings and no offers. Wow. I said, here's the bottom line. I'm going to sell your house. Your agent's an order taker. I'm going to guarantee you an offer the first weekend. Absolutely guarantee it. And everyone write this down. If your agents or brokers listen, learn something, man. I don't know. Every time you hear somebody sells 400 homes in a year, but I learned something from other people. I learned from other people. Yep. Offers have babies. Everyone write that down. Offers have babies. So I would come behind these people that had a beautiful home, but it's overpriced, $50,000, $80,000, $100,000, whatever. And First person to see it, we see it. Yeah, they didn't like it. It was priced too high. I says, well, what price would they like it at? Agents do not say this. Like, well, that's not representing your seller. Fine, keep representing your seller and don't sell the house and let them be frustrated, especially if it's vacant. Well, yeah, I mean, it probably, it's 6. I think the price is more like $520. It was way overpriced. I says, great, make us an offer at $520. They're like, are you serious? Your seller would drop the $520? I go, I don't know, but if you don't ask, the answer is always no. Yep. Make the price. Yeah, I called them. They want to do $520. What would they want to do it at? Well, they don't even like it. I go, so at $450 they wouldn't like it? Well, your seller would do $450. I go, what if they would? You don't make the offer. I don't care if it's verbal. Make me an offer. Call them back. He said, look, they won't do $450, but I'll do $450. I've got the buyer's agent to make me an offer. Now I have an offer. I have an offer at $450. It's verbal, but it's an offer. Yep. So guess what? All the other agents who called me that weekend, hey, is Champagne Court available? Yes, but barely. Why? I have an offer. Now most agents say, do you have any offers? No, I don't. Well, I get some lowball rotten offer from Remax or Coldwell Banker or EXP or Century 21 or Berkshire or Compass. What a joke. The guy offered $50,000 less. It was so insulting. I wouldn't present it to my seller. You, my friend, know nothing about sales. If I had a listing for $1 million and you offered me $250,000, I would mow your lawn, give you a hug and a kiss on the cheek, and bring you coffee. Because every agent I talk to for the rest of the weekend, is Champagne Court available or Powell Drive up in El Dorado Hills available? Yes, but barely. I have an offer. No, I'm not going to tell them it's $750,000 less, because people assume, oh my gosh, you have an offer. It eventually creates FOMO. Oh my, is there time? I go, well, barely. How quick can you get there? Because by the way, I put those offers together. I've had the buyers come up and accept. So it really is an offer starts the negotiation game. I'll take any price, and then I'll just go verbals back and forth with that one. But I go, I'm about to do a counteroffer. God, we could be there in an hour. Okay, I'll wait. I'm going to wait 90 minutes. If you like this house, you call me from the front porch from the lawn. You say, we're writing a full price offer close to it, and you might get it. Because I'm working hard with the other one. I'm serious. I mean, you don't sell 200, 300, 400 homes a year because you don't know how to sell. I know how to sell. And this is what Made for More will do for you. They will create the excitement and the enthusiasm around your property. It's just that, well, there's no offers yet because they're an order taker. They're waiting for the order. Go get the offer. Earn your money. Be creative. Put some energy into the process and sell the doggone home.
With that, we'll be back in just a bit.
Matt, I like to think that I am an expert at a lot of things, but the fact of the matter is there are so many things in this world that I just do not understand. Real estate is one of them, but thankfully we have our friend Johnny Jennings with the Tom Daves team at Made for More Realty that understands everything about real estate and is so creative. He was helping Betty sell her home, and she had this really tough situation that was difficult to figure out, but Johnny Jennings and the Tom Daves team at Made for More Realty were able to get it figured out and do so well that when it came time to sell her mother's home in Roseville, she's like, of course, I got to call Johnny, and helped her find the perfect buyer for her home.
And they'd love to help you as well. We trust them, so should you. In fact, listen to this. They'll get you at least 3 cash offers on your home in as-is condition. What does that mean? You don't have to do any costly home repairs, no showings, no open houses, no organizing and staging. Again, just at least 3 cash offers on your home in as-is condition. Because you expect more, get more with Johnny Jennings and the team at Made for More Realty. Just Google Johnny Jennings and Made for More Realty and get more for your home. License number 1982-171.
This is Made for More Living with Johnny Jennings, powered by EXP Realty. Online at madeformoreliving.com.
So we were back in the studio with Brent Gove, and he was sharing tips on how to get great deals on a house, or if your house is not selling, how to get that home sold. But let's say you finally get that accepted offer, you finally negotiated, you've gone back and forth, and now that home is in escrow. Well, guess what? Now the buyers get to inspect the property. Brent, you mind sharing us, like, how would you lead a buyer through that inspection process?
Absolutely. By the way, one last tip on getting your home sold or getting a great deal on a purchase.
Yeah.
Get on your knees and pray, man. Yeah, I'm not even kidding. I mean, I have laid on my, flat on the ground before the Lord. And so that's a secret tip right there. But it's real. It says in Proverbs, prayer is powerful and effective. So I would definitely make your requests before the Lord. So just a little side tip there.
Love it.
Okay, home inspections. Basically, I like to prepare people. You are paying a professional home inspector to praise the home and tell you how awesome it is. I mean, it's nice to hear that. Or would you like to have them actually if there's something seriously wrong with the roof, would you like to know? If there's, 17 bad windows out of 40 windows, would you like to know? If there's a problem with the foundation, why are you hiring this home inspector? They can glad hand you and say, oh, it's great, it's fine home, yeah. Or you paying them to find the problems. And by the way, they don't like getting sued. They don't like getting taken to court. They are experts at going through the electrical, the plumbing systems, all the appliances, except for, the washer, dryer, and fridge. Those are considered personal property. But they will check the oven. They'll put it like weird stuff like I would never think to put a thermostat in the oven, set it to 350, come back in 30 minutes and see if the thermostat matches that. A lot of ovens, you're like, why doesn't the turkey get done? Because I had it at 350. Well, your oven only heats to 280. Did you ever put a thermostat in there and see if the thermostat matches the 350? Sometimes the heating elements, I don't think about. Home inspectors think this way.
Yep. And
they're checking your smoke detectors and your carbon monoxide detectors. Make sure your family's safe. They're checking the wiring. Is there a rat's nest of wiring in the attic where you can't see? It can spark and start a fire. So here's the bottom line. These guys are good, and they're gonna tear that house apart, and it scares buyers. They freak out. They're like, oh my gosh, whoa, there's a lot going on. Hey, listen to me. You're not buying a brand new home. And by the way, brand new homes, they find wiring, plumbing, chimney issues in brand new homes. So yeah, he's going to give you a list of things, but remember this, you're looking for the big things. Is the HVAC system bad, which is heating and air conditioning? Is the roof bad? Are the windows bad? Is the foundation bad? They're going to find cracked tiles, a leaky faucet, a sprinkler that's busted, or maybe it's hitting the fence, which will cause dry rot on the fence, or it's actually hitting the house, which is not good for the house. We just take the sprinkler and you turn it by hand. You can replace a tile. Even I could do that. I've never done it, but I imagine it can't be that tough. Get some grout and fix a leak or whatever. I'm definitely the guy who calls a handyman to do everything. Let's be honest. But yeah. So I think don't get freaked out. They're going to give you a stack. I always tell my wife, they're going to come back and give you a big list, and this is what you want, but be ready. It's going to be bad, and it doesn't matter what home you pick, you probably won't want to buy it after you see the home inspection because they're going to scare the bejeebies out of you. So just prepare them mentally. Just take a breath. It's going to be pages of stuff they find, but caulking on the shower. I could do that myself, right? The smoke detector's broke. I can go to Home Depot and buy a new smoke detector. Light bulb's out on the rear porch. Go get a light bulb. The garage door sensor's overreacting or blah, blah, blah. These are little things. You're looking for the big things. And then, because the rougher the house, the more stuff they're going to find, but the rougher the house, the better price you get.
Exactly.
My kids bought a home, and I'll give it back to you, in Rockland. It was worth $300,000. Now, this is like 6 years ago, but it's worth $300,000. I told the guy this home's worth $300,000, and they bought it for $235,000. I mean, instantly they had $65,000 of equity instantly, and then they fixed it up, and it was a chicken coop. I mean, they painted it. We put carpet in it. They bought toilets and ceiling fans and a new oven and dishwasher. Oh, it cost so much money. A toilet's $180. A ceiling fan's $110. You buy two of them times two. A dishwasher's $497. A good oven could be $597 on sale, maybe $697. These are not super costly things, and you could do the dishes by hand until you can afford the $499 for the dishwasher. I'm not saying everyone's made of money, but these are simple fixes. That home right now is worth about I would say $75,000. 6 years later, and they paid $235,000. You know what their payment is? It's $1,400 a month. You know what it'll be in 10 years? $1,400 a month. You know what it'll be in 15 years? $1,400 a month. You know where the rents will be? It's already for a home like that, $3,000 a month, and they'd line up 30 deep. Renting is not the answer, but don't let a home inspection scare you away from the deal of a lifetime. That's my advice.
And you bring up some good points. We always tell clients before they get the home inspection report, like if we're representing the buyers, hey, it's gonna scare you. You're gonna wonder, how is this house even standing? Is it even legal to live in here? Is it safe for my family and kids? We're gonna walk you through this, and let's focus on the health and safety things. So those are things that maybe a lender is gonna require to be completed prior to close. It's not gonna be like a honeydew thing, like caulking, chips, tile, things like that. But we're gonna focus on the health and safety things, so that way you're safe and secure in this home with your family. And the flip side of that is the seller's perspective, because now you're submitting to them this list of repairs and they're going to see this huge whole list. Like, you want to be respectful of their situation as well. You don't want to blow up the deal over a cracked tile. But here's the thing. Those sellers are going to have to disclose moving forward all these issues that are now in these reports now that you've given it to them. So it's in the seller's best interest also to come to terms with you. So just make sure you're not over asking, but make sure that you are doing what's right for you and your family and that you can get a good loan on that property.
So good. There's nothing wrong with asking. They say no, you could still push forward.
Correct.
Hey, quick thing. Do you actually get a copy of today's show, John?
I do.
And if someone were to ask for it, could they get a copy from you if they contacted Made for More Realty?
Without a doubt.
Okay, so here's the deal. Write this down or make a mental note. You must, not kind of, should have, sort of, maybe, you must participate in your own rescue. If you're renting a home, all financial wealth in the United States of America starts with people will take it all the way back to when they bought their first home. And so you need to buy a home, and it means you need to study. I'm not sure how to do it. Write this down. Ignorance is not bliss. They say ignorance is bliss. No, it is not. Ignorance is not bliss. You will pay the dumb tax. Not buying a home 5 years ago, 3 years ago was a dumb thing not to do. Well, I didn't know how to do it. It's because you're ignorant. So study it. Get today's show. Listen to it 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times. Start watching Pace Morby on YouTube. Study it. You could buy a home. It's so much easier to buy a home than rent a home. Think about it. You rent a home, you're fighting with 10, 20, 30 50 other people that want to rent that home or apartment. And then the landlord wants first, last, security deposit. So if it's, let's say you get a deal, $2,000 a month. So first and last is $4,000. You got a pet? Oh no, that's $5,000. You move in, you $5,000 the day you move in. 30 days later, what's due again? The rent, $2,000. So it's 5 plus 2 is $7,000. When you buy a home, I can hand you the keys and you don't have to make a payment for 2 months. And you could get 100% financing through USDA, and you could get the seller to pay the closing costs. Well, it's hard to do. It's because your agent isn't any good. It's easy to do. Now listen to me. It's easier to buy a home than rent a home. You could own a home. You could paint the wall, put a garden in, have some pride of ownership, get tax benefits, $400, $500, $600, $700 a month, depending upon your situation, easily a pay rise that takes out of that payment. You could, my daughter bought a home with my son. They bought it together. My older daughter and son bought a home together 6 years ago. And they have hundreds of thousands of dollars of equity because their friends did nothing. They rented apartments. Their friends are still broke. And they still don't own homes. And the prices have skyrocketed. And they have a beautiful 3-bedroom, 2-bath home in Rockland. With the backyard, you can put 3 pools in the backyard, pine trees across the room for RV access, boat. I mean, this thing would go $575 like in a second. And you know what? So get creative. Maybe you can't buy it yourself. Buy it with a friend. Buy it with a sibling. Buy it with someone. Get your foot in this game. Call John Jennings and Valerie from Made for More Realty. Get a copy of today's talk. Listen to it 4 or 5 times. Educate yourself. Ignorance is not bliss. Stop paying the dumb tax.
So speaking of the dumb tax, guys, it is so easy to get information. Like, it's not what you know, it's who you know. Like, and stop trying to figure out, like, how am I going to figure out this information? Identify who has the information and how you can contact them. So you can reach out to us anytime at madeformorerealty.com. We are the who. We sell a home on average every 3 days. We help lots of families. We'd be honored to help you. And for those of you who are still on the fence and thinking, man, I just don't know if it's a good time for me or my family, or what if the economy doesn't recover? What if home prices crash? What if interest rates stay high? Like, if you are what ifing yourself out of a home ownership, a purchase, know that when you come to us, we are going to handle that. It's not what if, it's even if. We're going to keep you protected under any scenario. So even if the economy doesn't recover, you're going to be safe with that purchase. Even if interest rates stay high, even if prices fall, you are going to be protected. So please just reach out to us at madeformorerealty.com so we can help you in any situation.
So obviously, I don't have to tell you that during the holiday season, you are extra busy with so many things to do, so many events to go to. You don't have time to think about all the things you need to do to sell your home. So Johnny Jennings, our good friend with Made for More Realty, he's made it simple, easy, like he did for Sabrina, who wanted a cash offer for her home. So he brought her a dream offer. She accepted it and was even able to stay in her home after closing so she could make a smooth move to her next home. That's what they do. They make things fast, easy, and simple at Made for More Realty.
Yeah, just one of the many reasons they've been voted the number one team in Roseville for the past 3 years. There are so many reasons why they have over 800 5-star reviews. So you expect more, get more with Johnny Jennings and the Tom Daves team at Made for More Realty. Just Google Made for More Realty today and get more for your home. License number 198-2171.
This is Made for More Living with Johnny Jennings, powered by eXp Realty. Online at madeformoreliving.com.
So we are still in the studio with Brent Gove, local legend with eXp. He helped grow that company, and he's helped so many people, buyers, sellers, and agents. And one of those people, you were just telling me off the air, a guy out in Folsom. You changed his life.
Yeah,
You mind sharing that story?
Yeah, I was doing an open house up in El Dorado Hills. I bumped into Jesse, Folsom State prison guard, and he's like, God, I'm nervous about buying a home, but I know I should probably buy a home, and I and so this is probably 15 years ago, maybe 2011, right at the bottom of the market. And so he stepped up, and I sold him a home for no money down. Well, that's bad. No, it's not. Adjustable rate is bad. Keep your money. What you want is a fixed rate for 30 years, and you're good to go. So nothing wrong with no money down. It's negative amortization loans, adjustable loans, NIDJA loans. Those can be very bad and very toxic loans. So 30-year fixed is the magic words you want to hear. And so Jesse was nervous, but he bought a 5-bedroom, 3-bath home on a half acre in El Dorado Hills in 2011 for, I think he paid $315,000 for it.
Wow.
Yep. And the funny thing is, I moved to the Caribbean 4 years ago. I live out in the Caribbean today. I'm semi-retired. I took the Brent Gove team, by the way, and I merged them with Made for More Realty. When you take your babies, the Brent Gove Real Estate Group, which has been running since 1999, and I gave it to John Jennings because I trust John. John's the agent I trust. And he's an awesome guy, and he and his wife, Valerie, love them dearly. In fact, you guys are coming to my home for dinner tonight at 5.
Yes, we are.
Yep. And they had us for Thanksgiving maybe 4 years ago up at Lake Tahoe. You guys rented a little house right on the water. It was cool. So they're people we know, like, and trust and love. But so John's, I'm telling you, he's a real deal. But so back to Jesse, the story. I'm in the Caribbean. I bump into him. He's getting off a cruise ship in San Juan, and I saw him, or it might have been St. Thomas. I don't know where it is. And he's like, Brent Gove. And I turn and go, Jesse? And what are the odds of bumping into him in the Caribbean?
So remote.
And I go, how you doing? He's still working for Folsom State? He goes, oh, no, I retired. He goes, I retired because of the one house. He goes, well, he goes, my Folsom State, prison guard pension was decent for sure. He goes, but that home he sold me for $315,000, I went on to become worth $1.3 million. And I was able to sell it and take that money. And it's the main reason I'm able to travel the world today, because I bought one home and you sold it to me. You changed my life. Wow. So I'm telling you, if you're out there right now, buy your first home. My parents owned 2. Now, they had 3 or 4 condos, this, halfplex. They sold all that. They got down to paying off their home and a duplex. Well, the duplex, $2,000 from one side of the duplex, $2,000 from the other side. It's paid off. That's $4,000 a month. They get Social Security. I think they make like $7,000 a month, and their house is paid off. Their cars are paid off. They have no financial worries. They don't earn 22 homes. They own 2. So buy a home, don't sell it. Well, doesn't that hurt John Jennings and you? Yeah, we make money when you sell homes, so maybe that wasn't the best advice for us, but it's the best advice for you. Mm-hmm. I always beg to my clients, never call me back to sell this house. Call me back to buy another house, an investment property or something. But if you can, never sell the house. And yes, that hurts us big time financially, but our fiduciary is to you and your family. And I'm telling you, the only people that have what ifs is what if I didn't sell my home 20 years ago? Yeah. What if I hadn't have sold my home 10 years ago? I would have had this run up in the past 10 years. People who get wealthy retain real estate. They don't buy and sell, buy and sell, buy and sell. It's a fool's errand. Buy and hold. Buy and hold, but it went down. It'll go back up. Real estate's cyclical. It grows, it pulls back. It grows, it pulls back. It grows, it pulls back. And these pullbacks typically are 2, 3, 4, 5 years, and they run for 5, 6, 7, 8 years. And look at the history of real estate. I mean, My parents bought their first home for $6,000 in San Diego, right? And then
Man.
what's a home cost in San Diego now? I mean, I'm telling you, you think $400,000, $500,000, $600,000 is a lot. 20 years from now, like, well, how many did you buy? Did you buy 10 of them? That's such a good deal. 500,000, 600,000. Did you buy 10? Like, man, I was scared to buy one. So don't let fear stop you. Buying a home's the best thing you ever do, and then hold on to it. Get that fixed rate. That's my 2 cents on that topic. Do you have any topics along there or thoughts or comments?
Yeah, so the first house that I ever bought, it was in Bakersfield. Valerie was living with her parents, and then she was actually, I think, living with my grandma in Fresno. So she had never I wanted her to live into a home. That was very important to me. As soon as we got married, I wanted her to have a home to live in, but I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to buy a house.
Yeah.
And so I rented a bunch of books from the library. I read about 1,000 pages on how to do it, and I stumbled across this strategy where if you buy a multifamily home, similar to what your parents have with the duplex, so the house I ended up buying had a regular home in Bakersfield. What was it? 2820 Pine Street in Bakersfield.
Oh,
I remember the
nice.
address.
Yep.
So it was this old house built in the 50s, and then behind it had a mother-in-law unit. So it had a detached unit, and I'd always worked for money, right? So I'd been a waiter, a poor waiter. I'd welded. I'd done a bunch of different jobs where I was always working for the money. And then, so we bought the house, moved in. A buddy from church started renting the mother-in-law unit, the back unit from us. And I'll never forget the first time he gave me the rental, the check. It was like $800. It wasn't like a huge sum of money, but I did nothing for it. I just provided him a place to live. It was the equivalent of somebody crashing on your couch.
Right.
And he handed me the $800, and boom. That was the moment my life changed forever, because I realized this is so powerful. I'm providing a safe, clean place for my buddy to live, and he's paying me, and I don't have to do anything for it. I don't have to go out there and work. Like I was welding in the oil fields. I don't have to weld in the 100-degree heat in order to make this money. He's just paying me, and he's going to do it the next month, and the next month, and the next month, and the next month, and it never stops. And so there are so many ways out there to buy that first property if you are willing to get creative. So the first house we bought was that single-family unit with the mother-in-law in the back. The next property we bought was a triplex. So Valerie and I lived in one unit, rented out the other two. That may not work for every situation, but I guarantee there is a situation out there, there's a strategy that will work for you.
Can I ask you a question about the triplex?
Yeah.
What was the overall payment on the triplex?
Oh, shoot, I don't even remember. It was cash flow positive.
Well, that's my point. So let's say it was $3,000 a month, which would, back when you bought it, like, oh my God, it's all the money in the world.
Yeah.
But let's say you receive, $1,000 a month from each side. So really, that's $2,000. So it's not $3,000; it's $1,000 a month.
Yep.
But now you have an asset that is going to appreciate, and when you move out, it'll pay $3,000 a month. But guess what? Rents do what? How many of you can rent a place for $1,000 a month? No, it's like $2,000 a month. So now it's not $3,000 a month; it's $6,000 a month. But the payment stays at $3,000 a month. So, buy a duplex, live in one side, rent out the other. Buy a triplex. There are creative ways to do it. Go talk. It all begins with talking to John Jennings, and he'll put you with JJ Mack, and they'll get you pre-qualified. There's creative ways to do this, you guys. Where there's a will, there's a way. Do you have the heart? Do you have the soul? Are you sick and tired of being sick and tired of having a landlord? No, you can't have a dog. No, you can't put in a garden. No, you can't paint the wall. No, you have to live with the nasty carpet, or you have things breaking down. They're not fixing your air conditioning quickly. It's not fair to your family, but you know what? Don't be a victim. Do something about it. Don't play the victim. Move. Buy a house. You could do this. There's ways to get it done.
There are so many ways, and one of my biggest fears for my clients is for them to come to me in 5 years and say, "Okay, I'm ready to buy that first house," and the price that they would have paid if they would have taken the leap now is going to be way, way different.
5 years ago, what did it cost to buy a 3-bedroom, 2-bath in West Roseville? 5 years ago.
We're probably talking like $150,000 less than it is today, depending on.
So waiting 5 years hurts you. No tax benefits for 5 years. We're
Correct.
not adding in the tax benefits. Lack of appreciation. Interest rates were better then, but they're not good now. I know they're going to change, and you can refi when they're lower. And so get the rate you got to get, and get on with your life. Renting is never the answer.
It's never the answer. And then just begin the process. Just begin the process. Reach out to somebody. If you're saying, hey, Brent's endorsing Johnny, but I don't know Johnny. If there is somebody you do know, I would prefer for you to reach out to them and just begin the process. Because what's going to happen?
Oh, time out. Johnny's being nice here. Oh, just because you know your niece or your nephew, I said I'm going to use my niece. They don't know anything.
Yeah.
How many of you would seriously? How many of you would take tax advice from a toddler? Well, my niece and nephew, they're toddlers. First-year agents are dangerous. And I know some of your first year not appreciate. I'm sorry, I was dangerous. We had no idea we know it. I get it. You got to go through the right way. You don't want to be somebody's purchase on a first year. They could do something wrong that could affect the rest of your life. And people do it all the time with the biggest purchase they'll ever make, a home.
Yeah.
How often do you spend $300,000, $400,000, $500,000, $600,000, $700,000? Probably never. And you're going to do it with your niece or your nephew or your friend from work or your friend from work's wife who's new. And I know some of you are new and you don't like this advice, but my job is to help them. And you'll get your people who will not listen and they'll pay the dumb tax. Because trust me, that first year I made mistakes and my clients paid for it. How would you like to go to a doctor and he's doing his first LASIK eye surgery and you're his first one? I want the guy who's done it 3,000 times. I don't want to be someone's first open heart patient. I don't want that doctor. And so John's being nice. If you know someone, just call them. I'm telling you right now, John's sold hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds. He's a top 1%er in the Sacramento area, Northern California. Doesn't matter where you live. Davis, Vacaville, Woodland, Sacramento, Yuba City, Marysville, Stockton, Elk Grove, Tahoe. Call John. I'm telling you right now, call John Jennings and say, we got to talk. John, I'm going to make you do this. What is your phone number? Text him. I want you to send him a text while I'm talking. Grab a pen and a piece of paper. Grab your cell phone. Just put it open your cell phone. Pull over. Don't get in a wreck. But, John, what is your cell phone number?
Yeah. You can reach me at 916-888-8755.
So he didn't know I was going to do that. But
I
don't want you just to talk to somebody you know from work's wife or husband. He or she may be great. They may be horrible. And you won't know. So it's 916-888-8755. 8755, or look up Made for More, and it's made in the numeral 4 and then More Realty. Google them. You'll find John Jennings out of West Roseville. They sell all over Northern California. If you're in Napa, call them. If you're in San Francisco, San Jose, call him. We can list homes and do our marketing anywhere. We're licensed in the state of California, and he will help you big time. And man, it was great being on the show today. Are we almost done?
We are done. No, that's a great note to end it on. Thank you so much for coming all the way out from Puerto Rico to be on the show.
Great to be here, man.
One more reminder, if you want to sell your home in 2025, Johnny Jennings and the Tom Daves team at Made for More Realty can get you at least 3 cash offers on your home in as-is condition. No stagings, no showings, no costly home repairs. Just Google Johnny Jennings and the Tom Daves team at Made for More Realty and get more for your home.